Don't be afraid of the person that you're becoming. Don't get so stuck in the past that you can't show up and be present for them.
She was very encouraging, very inspiring, and she actually motivated me. She was authentic and very personable, and it really made me feel like I relate to her story. What I aspire to be, just the best version of myself.
You are listening to Unleash the Podcast, revolutionizing the way women grow, work, live, and lead, engaging interviews, insightful book reviews, and timeless gems to aid the modern woman in excelling personally and professionally. Hosted by the multi-passionate Tabitha D. James, Unleash the Podcast not only empowers listeners, but also equips them with applicable action-based resources for daily life.
Hey friends, and welcome to this week's episode of Unleash the Podcast. It is my hope that this 2020 is off to an amazing start for you. Sidebar, I say this 2020 like there's going to be another one. But anywho, I hope that it is off to a great start for you. I hope you have your calendars marked for the live recording of Unleash the Podcast, where we will do an insightful interview and some timeless gem Q&A. That is going to be on Thursday, April 9th at Converse Space in Columbia, South Carolina. Tickets will be made available very, very, very soon. Another Unleash event that's coming a little sooner than that is the Online Strategy Summit. You can get a ticket for that live, so you can join us in Conway for that event, or you can get an online ticket. I have been blessed to be able to partner with Renee Reed of Higher Optics, and she is coming to give us the timeless gems on SEO, Google Analytics, planning for your social media, what your web presence should look like, and how to have that strong so that you are searchable. And when you're searchable, you're findable. Yes, findable and searchable. You'll get it later. It is my hope that if this is something you need, or you know someone who needs this, they are maybe a show of one or two, and they just need that little extra help to figure out the ins and outs of how to make that happen, and how to not just make it happen, but have it not be too overwhelming, because that's one of the things with business or brand presence, if you will. It gets a little overwhelming. So if either of those interests you, get your ticket and I'll see you there. But for now, let's get into this week's topic about adjusting, right? And this is something that I can never get tired of talking about, because oftentimes we set our mind on one thing or another, and it's like when something goes wrong or something goes left or something happens, we get a little sidetracked, and it's easy to just forget what our destination was, because essentially that's what matters. Life is just a journey. It's a journey. It's an ever-flowing journey until you end. But when we think about some of those destinations or milestones, oftentimes on the road from where we are to where we're going, there are going to be bumps and humps and hurdles. Talked about this times before, but today I want to hone in on how important it is to accept that adjustment is okay. Accept that adjustment is actually necessary. And this may be adjusting the way you're driving through the path. This may be adjusting the folks that are with you on the path. And it just may be adjusting you. Don't be afraid to ebb and flow and change. Don't be afraid of the person that you're becoming. Don't get so stuck in the past that you can't show up and be present for the present. Don't get so stuck in the past that you can't show up for the present and be present, because this season is probably going to require a different version of you than the last one did, or than the one before that did. So those old strategies, those old tactics, they may not work anymore. Some of them might, right? So for me, grit works for me. Grit, showing up, being there, being consistent, serving the people. Those things, they work for me. But what doesn't work for me anymore is all-nighters. They worked for me, college, summer grad school, a little bit after. They don't work for me anymore. And I had to learn that and adjust. And now I'm capitalizing on my days. I try to make sure that I have full days so that when I do get tired, I can lay down and not feel guilty about laying down. What doesn't work for me? Not sticking to the rules. When I first started my organization, as we were growing in the baby stages, I bent the rules a little bit for children and parents as it related to payments, as it related to absences, as it related to discipline. It don't work for me no more. It doesn't work because you have to be fair and you have to learn and grow. And, if you don't learn from something, then you may have to go through it again. And there are some issues and some challenges that I just don't want to go through again. So I'm going to capitalize on learning from them and growing from them and showing up as an adjusted version of Tabitha, still dedicated to the mission and the purpose of everything in my life, but showing up adjusted. So what does that look like for you? What are some things that just don't work anymore? What are some things that you need to adjust? And what are some things that you need to think about as it relates to who you are as a human? Dive into that. Think about that and have an amazing, amazing, amazing week. Until next time, catch you later.
Right before you go, friend, don't forget to rate, review, and share the podcast. This really has nothing to do with me, but it's more about the impact. The more you do that, it will help us to reach others, help others to be able to unleash their unique greatness. So before you go, rate, review, and share. Have a good one.